Have you ever noticed something strange? You start losing weight. The scale goes down. Your face looks slimmer. Your clothes fit better. People start saying, "Wow, have you lost weight?" But then you look in the mirror, and that stubborn belly fat is still there. The love handles? Still there. The lower stomach? Still hanging on for dear life. And that's usually the moment people quit. They think their diet stopped working. They think their genetics are cursed. They think they're doing something wrong. But what if I told you your body is actually working exactly as it's supposed to? Because belly fat isn't one battle. It's three completely different battles. And if you don't understand which layer you're fighting, you lose motivation right before you're about to win. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 hidden layers of fat loss. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your progress feels slow, why most people fail, and what it actually takes to finally get rid of stubborn belly fat. Let's start with layer 1. Layer 1, the soft outer layer. This is where almost everybody begins. For men, this is roughly the journey from overweight down to around 20% body fat. For women, around 28%. And this stage is deceptive because physically, it's actually the easiest part. But mentally, it's brutal. Here's why. When you first start losing weight, your body doesn't immediately attack belly fat. Instead, it goes after easier targets. Your face gets leaner, your arms shrink, your chest tightens up, your neck becomes more defined. Meanwhile, your stomach looks almost exactly the same. And that's incredibly frustrating. Imagine saving money every day for months, but your bank account balance barely changes. Eventually, you'd wonder if anything is happening at all. That's how fat loss feels in the beginning. The problem isn't that you're failing. The problem is that you're looking in the wrong place. Your body is simply pulling fat from areas where it's easiest to access first. The belly is usually one of the last places to change, not the first, which means most people quit right before the process starts working. The strategy here is surprisingly simple. Lift weights 3 times per week. Not because you're trying to become a bodybuilder, but because muscle tells your body, keep this tissue, burn the fat instead. Then focus on basic nutrition habits. Eat a palm-sized serving of lean protein with meals. Cook more food at home. Choose mostly whole foods. You don't even need to count every calorie yet. And most importantly, move. Aim for around 8,000 steps per day. Nothing extreme, just consistent movement. The goal is simple. Lose about 1 pound per week. Not 3, not 5, 1. Because slow fat loss is sustainable fat loss. And here's the secret weapon nobody talks about. Take progress photos every week. Because your eyes lie. When you see yourself every day, changes become invisible. Photos reveal what the mirror hides. And trust me, you're changing more than you think. But eventually, you hit the second layer. And that's where things get interesting. Layer 2, the mid-layer showdown. This is the stage where dreams go to die. Seriously, most people never make it through this layer. For men, this means pushing toward roughly 15% body fat. For women, around 23%. This is where abs start appearing. The waist becomes noticeably tighter. The stomach finally begins looking athletic. But there's a problem. Your body doesn't want you here. Think about it. When you weighed more, you burned more calories. Simply existing required more energy. Now you're lighter, which means your body naturally burns fewer calories every day. And that's not all. Your metabolism may start fighting back. Researchers sometimes call this a thrifty metabolism. Your body senses prolonged dieting and begins conserving energy. You unconsciously move less. You feel more tired. Hunger increases. Progress slows down. And suddenly the diet that worked perfectly 3 months ago stops working. This is where people panic. They slash calories, add endless cardio, and burn themselves out. Instead, you need a smarter approach. Increase your daily activity. Push your steps closer to 10,000 per day. Think of this as insurance against a slowing metabolism. Then, increase your training. Move from 3 workouts per week to 4. Your goal is no longer just preserving muscle. Now you're actively building it. Because more muscle improves how your body looks as fat disappears. But there's one thing you can no longer avoid: tracking calories. I know, nobody likes hearing that. But precision matters now. At this stage, small mistakes add up quickly. A useful starting point is multiplying your body weight in pounds by roughly 10 to 12. That gives you a baseline calorie target. And suddenly progress starts moving again. Slowly, steadily, predictably. But then, you reach the final layer. The layer that separates lean from shredded. Layer 3. The stubborn lower belly and love handles. This is where the real war begins. The lower stomach. The love handles. The final pockets of fat. The areas that seem genetically programmed to survive nuclear explosions. And here's the crazy part. This is actually where physical changes happen the fastest. Because there's less fat left covering the muscle. A tiny amount of fat loss creates a huge visual difference. But biologically, this stage is a nightmare. Because stubborn fat is different. It contains a higher concentration of something called alpha-2 receptors. Think of them as brake pedals. They make fat release slower and harder. Other body areas have more beta receptors. Those act like accelerators. Stubborn fat? It's basically driving with the brakes on. And your body knows exactly what's happening. The leaner you become, the more aggressively your body fights back. Hunger skyrockets. Cravings intensify. Energy drops. Stress hormones rise. And one hormone becomes particularly important: cortisol. High cortisol can cause significant water retention, meaning you might actually be losing fat while looking bloated. Imagine working incredibly hard for weeks, only to look worse in the mirror. That's enough to break most people mentally. So what's the solution? First, tighten the margins. This isn't the time for random cheat calories. Liquid calories need to go. Creamers, sugary drinks, mindless snacks. Every small decision matters. And prioritize foods that keep you full. For example, many people find boiled potatoes far more filling than the same calories from rice. But the most powerful tool at this stage might surprise you. Eat more. Seriously. It's called the diet break. Instead of cutting calories further, increase them, usually by around 500 calories per day, mostly from carbohydrates. Do this for 5 to 14 days. What happens? Stress decreases, hormones improve, energy returns, water retention drops, and suddenly you look leaner again. Not because you lost more fat, but because your body finally relaxed. Sometimes the fastest way forward is taking your foot off the gas. The truth nobody wants to hear. Now here's the part fitness influencers rarely mention. Getting completely shredded isn't necessary. And for many people, it's not even the best goal. If you don't have a solid foundation of muscle, getting extremely lean can make you look smaller instead of better. You don't automatically become impressive at 10% body fat. A lean physique without muscle often just looks skinny. The best physiques are built in phases. Lose fat, maintain, build muscle, lose fat again, maintain again, repeat. Not through crash diets, not through suffering, but through patience. Because your body isn't a project you finish. It's an investment you manage. Conclusion. So, remember, Layer 1 teaches patience. Layer 2 teaches precision. Layer 3 teaches resilience. And every stage requires a different strategy. The mistake most people make is using the same approach for all three, then wondering why progress stalls. Your belly fat isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that you're human. The body protects its most valuable energy, reserves. That's what it's designed to do. So, if you're currently frustrated, if the belly fat hasn't disappeared yet, if the scale seems stuck, keep going. Because the people who eventually succeed aren't the ones with perfect genetics. They're the ones who understand what stage they're in and refuse to quit before the next layer falls. And sometimes that's all transformation really is. Not finding a secret,